Alright, this is F-16 Fighting Falcon, the Sega card game for the Sega Master System. And this game is f***ing horrible. It is the pits. I'm not feeling too well today, so it's not helping my review, but I gotta tell you, it's a pretty bad f***ing game. And I don't mean in the Run DMC sense of the word bad. I mean bad meaning bad, not bad meaning good. So let's get on with the review. Now this game certainly plays like an older game than 1985, and there's a hint that it may be because it was reprogrammed from ASCII. So that's like some really old school computer shit right there for a game. Now, F-16 Fighting Falcon is a flight simulator, if you haven't guessed already. And flight simulators are not easy games for people that aren't aspiring pilots or, airplane fanatics, that sort of thing. There's a lot to take in on a flight simulator. There's the entire cockpit display, and in the area of the windscreen you can see your altimeter to the right, and your airspeed indicator I think is to the left, but it could be up top in the center also. I'm not really sure. It was rather confusing. I had the manual and it was still confusing. In this game, you use both game pads. You have game pads plugged into ports 1 and 2, and you have to control both of them at the same time, which I think actually it's easier to fly an actual F-16 because you have to position both game pads in front of you on the ground and then put your thumbs on them and your fingers on all the buttons to get ready to play. It's not a very easy thing to do. You can see I died in about 20 seconds. But I think that was just a string of bad luck because right before I recorded this I was playing for like 5 minutes straight without, really encountering an enemy. So if you're thinking of picking this game up, make sure it has the instruction manual because it's crucial to playing the game. And fortunately, I do have the instruction manual, but this instruction manual is almost 40 pages long, and it reads like an F-16 fighter manual, which doesn't help us non-Air Force people. There's all kinds of different things you can do. You can switch on and off autopilot, which is a little difficult. I did it by accident at one point, but it involves pressing buttons simultaneously on 2 controllers, and I had it switched on, but I wasn't exactly sure what the real benefit of autopilot was, because it didn't let you really chase the enemies or anything. It just kind of steered you in a pseudo-random fashion to some unknown destination. Now, this game is equipped with a heads-up display you can see at the bottom, and it has a lot of information on it, but all that information is fairly difficult to read. As I'm looking at it on my editing software, it's on quite a bit smaller of a screen than I was playing this on, and it's a little easier to read here. But I couldn't read it to save my life when I was playing it on the big screen. Okay, I just found this in the manual on page 11 or 12. 11 it looks like, that the airspeed indicator is that dial on the left side of the screen, and the top center dial is your magnetic compass, which works in 360 degrees. So yeah, would it be too much to put an N, S, E, and W for north, south, east, and west on there? I mean, really, come on. Alright, so the super shitty game control goes like this. Your left controller controls like the yoke of an aircraft. So it's, you push down on the control pad to tilt the nose of the airplane up, and then you push up on the control pad to tilt the nose down to dive, and then left and right works your ailerons to tilt the airplane left or right. And your buttons on that control pad control your armaments. You have a some kind of machine gun with a finite number of bullets, and you have a couple of missiles, not many, I think you have 2 or something. And you press buttons simultaneously in that controller to, I think, lock on a target, but it's a little tough to see what does what. I mean, some reticles pop up when you do that, but it doesn't actually really lock on them. The right-hand controller works like the throttle controls of an aircraft, controlling mostly your speed, but they also control some other functions in the airplane, like the eject, and something else. Autopilot works in there somehow, but you got to push a combination of buttons. It's kind of hard to decipher while you're playing. And yeah, that's about it for gameplay. It plays out like a flight simulator, which is not necessarily an easy experience. It's rather frustrating to novices. I'm not going to comment much on the graphics of this game, because it was, from what I gathered, reprogrammed from ASCII, which was like not a text game, but a game, like a graphical game made with like text characters or something. Is the best I can tell what it was. I could be wrong on that, but it certainly plays like a very old flight simulator. Probably originally made in the late 70s, early 80s. I mean, it would have been nice to distinguish between the ground and the sky by a different color, but the grid works. You know that the grid is ground. It would just be nice, that's all. But I'm not asking for much, because this is a Sega card game, and the card games were on the Sega Master System budget line of games. They were much cheaper than the regular cartridge games. So a lot less effort went into programming them and polishing them off. At this point in the game, I ran out of bullets, so I'm just trying to kill myself. And that's not even that easy to do. You have to like really aim for the ground and give it all you got. But alas, I was successful, and I was able to end the game with a bit of dignity. I'm Dommy from Classic Games Revisited. Until next time.